Are there times that their pain or their suffering gets to you?
Gets to me. It definitely affects me. You know, you have to empathize, or you're not gonna be a very good nurse if you're not empathizing. So, yeah, definitely.
What do you mean when you say empathize?
Looking at from their point of view and putting yourself in their shoes and imagining the discomfort that they're having, or whatever they're experiencing.
Yeah.
And the things that help, and it's kind of the same thing, because I went through the nursing, but also when you have people coming in the law office, the first step is for me asking them, tell me about your case, tell me about what's happening. So it's kind of the same thing. And so they're at a weak point in their life, most likely.
Is that right?
Went through hard times, and they
whether
need
it's
help.
a domestic case or a criminal case, and you just have to be able to be patient and listen to their problems. But the things that help me is that these core foundations, these core doctrines, which is to love your neighbor. Right. And there's a lot of things that go along with that. It's not just rebuking them when they sin, although that is
essential.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's being kind, being gentle, being patient, not being easily angered, not, keeping record of wrong. And so when we read these things, and, we're supposed to keep reading the Bible, and then we have our elders and the sermons every week that teach us how to appropriately apply it.
Yeah.
And so that, we just had a sermon from Charles who is talking about
that was really good. How
do you bless your enemies, like Christ said, but not become partaker of their sin. And so that, these sermons like that, they really help me. And, of course, just reading the words of Christ and how he lived.
And his example, and trying, to emulate that as much as we can. And it's a very personal thing. It's not just, I'm out on the street in public. It's every personal interaction, loving your neighbor. It's important.
Do you... So, for instance, at the law office, are there times where it's a lot harder than other times to be loving to the person?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can
she works with me.
It says if you love the people who love you, what thank have ye? It's the people who hate you that are hardest to, be kind to. And that's the most important time to do it.
Yeah. And
wait, say more.
I'm crying. You're supposed to give me a break. If any time to love your neighbor, it's when it's the hardest. And when they're the most hateful and cruel to you. And...
Like when?
Out on the street. Somebody comes up. We were in... when you said Philadelphia, it reminded me of when we were picketing there. And somebody came up and threw a hot coffee at me. And it's like...
Yeah.
No,
it didn't upset me. It actually made me happy, but I was like, okay, this is awesome. But, being able to go through those things and have a comfort that you are properly applying it, and from the heart that you're sincere in your love for your neighbor. Damn hormones. They're real, and they're a real problem for... I'm just saying, I pity any woman who has to have hormones.
I think a lot of them do.
I know, darn it. Poor women, I empathize. But yeah. So it is something that we feel very strongly about.
What? I want to come back, but what's hard about it?
I'm not saying that it's hard. I'm just saying when it seems as if, in your mind you think, that would be hard. To be nice to somebody who just threw hot coffee on. Well, that happened to Bekah too, by the way.
That was...
Throwing hot coffee on her recently. When you would think of it just as an outside, that it would be hard, but it shouldn't be hard. And it really isn't hard. It isn't hard. It's very easy to suffer wrong and bear it patiently. That's what you should do.
Then where are the tears? What's the tears?
I'm an emotional person. I got hormones. Did I mention the hormones? Sorry.
But put words to it if you don't mind.
Oh, just that I feel very strongly. This is the most important, essential thing to do. And I sure hope I'm doing it right. I sure hope so. And I feel terribly guilty when I don't do it right. Not loving my neighbor properly and having any kind of vengeful or, I really, really don't like you, kind of thoughts.
So you get those
Because
thoughts sometimes.
Well, of course you do. And all kinds of awful things cross your mind. And awful sins that you commit in your life. Nobody is sinless. Nobody is guiltless. And you feel it to your core. That you deserve death and hell. And if you don't start there, I feel sorry for you. If you don't start there with that perspective, that I deserve every wrong that anybody could ever do to me. Christ bore that. Christ bore the worst torture and ignominy and his death, shameful death. He did all of that. And that's my example. And I deserve all of that and worse, and death and hell. And thank God I have a hope. Thank God I have a hope that I will escape the eternal death. That's where my focus and all my emotion and all my care is wrapped up in.